and compassion. Noble Hospital and Bay State Health. Better together.
Wednesday mornings start off right from 6 to 8 a.m. with Tina Gorman and Wake Up Wednesday.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM WSKB Westfield.
You know what, Pete's giving me he's knocking on the window. He's like, come on. And I think we might have had enough of each other this past weekend.
Oh,
You were away. Where were you? You were down south.
We were away. We were way down south in the land of cotton where my socks stink and yours are rotten. Run away. Run away. Run away.
Doodah.
I'm just going to sit this one out.
Yeah.
807.
boy.
Wait, you know what, Kathy? Now that he has that little stupid thing up in the corner,
Yeah, and you can see it.
807
wait.
and a half.
Wait.
There you go.
All right. Today is the 5th day of November in the year 2019. Anno Domini, this is the Den, Ken's Den, and I have no more candidates to interview. So after 5 weeks,
Bob, what
back
are you
to
running
normal
for?
radio.
I'm running basically for my life. And I'm also running for anything that anybody wants me to do.
Well, you know, Pete and I didn't do any
Practice.
Pete and I didn't do any running.
You didn't do any.
But we did do some driving.
Oh no.
And
How was that?
As you know, we
The
usually
views expressed by the host are those solely of his own, not necessarily those of Peter Coles, Westfield State University, the Radio Club, or those affected by our travel plans. And now,
I'm leaving.
you know what, Kath?
I'm afraid to ask what.
Usually after I return back from a trip with Peter on the road, I have a monologue talking about how the trip went. Mm-hmm. I wrote several. One on the way back. I wrote another one a few days ago. But for the first time now, in the 3 years we've been doing this, I kept a journal on the way down, just so I could see how the trip changed and progressed.
a road log, if you will.
Yeah.
Lovely.
So instead,
There's a cow.
There's
a tree.
Instead of delivering something monologue style, I'm just gonna
Read from your
I'm
journal.
gonna read my journal.
Oh, we need some kind of like pastoral music behind this or driving music. This would be, like I don't know if you got anything.
I tried to
Peter.
find apropos sound effects to go with this, but I went on the YouTube and I just couldn't find what I really wanted. So
Yeah.
it was just nothing that I really wanted. What I really wanted.
What I really wanted.
Really wanted.
That's a reference to
It's been a
my
long.
inability to say ours.
Here we
Really
go. All right,
really want it.
It's been 5
no.
weeks. I'm getting it all out now.
If you want, wait a minute. If you want the real thing, it's this.
What is it?
Oh, wait a minute. I gotta pop myself back up. That's annoying. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Because
What's coming?
I'm getting it all out now because at 9 o'clock today, I've got a whistleblower coming in. They have it on the federal level. Now we're going to have it on the Westfield level.
Kathy, do you remember this?
Tell you what I want. I can't even. I'm going to see if I can do it
Oh,
slowly.
God, no,
Tell you
please.
what I want. What I really want. Tell you what I want. What I really what I want is this song to end.
He just did the
really
William,
wheelie.
He just did the William Shatner version.
That's a classic drop.
All right,
I
man,
love-
let's
thank
get
you,
this over
thank you,
with.
Thank you. That's the making the list version of my really wanting to end the song to end.
I think I just got a traffic update from somebody.
Did you?
Yeah.
Anyone heading east on the Pike, find another way. Must be major accident detouring at Palmer. Okay,
There is.
so
The
All
Pike's
right.
closed due to a major accident in Palmer.
all right.
Oh my
eastbound.
gosh.
Yes.
I hope all's well.
Geez, I wonder if that's going to affect exit 12 by the time I get out of here. It shouldn't.
not gonna
Palmer's
be that
far
far
enough
back.
away. All right. So as I was saying,
Yeah.
I kept a journal on the way down. 11 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. Mm-hmm. We were really excited to get on the road.
I can tell.
We really enjoy getting down to Virginia for rocket launches. I don't think anything can sour our moods right now.
Happy day.
12 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. When did we get into New York State? 1 minute I have my nose in my phone trolling Facebook in Westfield. The next minute, we're in another state. This is awesome. This drive is going by super quick. 1300 Eastern Daylight Time.
Once,
Awesome. We pulled up behind a Prius with a Screw Trump bumper sticker next to a Coexist bumper sticker and Love Everyone bumper sticker. If you want everyone to coexist, why are you singling somebody out that you do not want to coexist with and love? I am confused.
So true.
Oh, this is good.
1400 Eastern Daylight Time.
Yeah.
We were stopping at a Choke and Puke on the Jersey Expressway. I don't want to poison myself with McDonald's, so I'm going to get something at the Mexican counter.
Oh, no, this is a
Peter,
bad
Peter,
idea.
Peter.
What is that? That's the car.
No, you don't know what that is?
What is that?
The following takes place between 3 p.m. and 4 p.m.
All right, play that again, Pete. The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
I get it now.
Okay.
I don't.
1500 Eastern Daylight Time. I just saw a sign on the side of the road. Get crabs year-round.
Oh.
I'm unsure if this is referring to food or an STD. We were going too fast to see the rest of the sign.
It even had a phone number.
Are cat houses legal in Delaware?
Gosh.
The following happens between 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock. 1600 Eastern Daylight Time. Why the hell did that guy just flip us off? We were going 85. The following happens between 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock. 1700 Eastern Daylight Time. That chimichanga I had at the rest area in Jersey is starting to rear its ugly head, and freaking Pete hasn't fixed the passenger side window yet. I don't care. If I don't let this thing out, I'm going to explode. The following happens between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. 1800 Eastern Daylight Time. We just drove past the official Technicolor Yawn parking lot. I said that I wanted to stop just for old time's sake, and Pete punched me in the throat. All of the following happens after 7 p.m. 1900 Eastern Daylight Time. What do you mean the damn phone with the GPS just locked up? Don't you know your way without it by now? No? Well, F me.
That's true.
1905 Eastern Daylight Time. I'm able to get waves to work on my phone. Miraculously, we're 8 miles away from our destination. Pete and I are not talking to each other right now.
It was a bit tense.
1925 Eastern Daylight Time. We made it to our destination. Pete and I hugged and kissed and sang Kumbaya. Kidding. Fifth a citron for myself.
Oh,
True.
We didn't deal with each other until the morning.
Bye.
Journal note.
yeah.
Uh-oh.
I would do this again in a heartbeat. We'll be back right after this.
We got this in pocket. Gunpowder, I'm gonna use it. Intention, I'm feeling mental. Gonna make you notice. Got motion, restrained emotion. I've been driving, detour leaning, no reason. Just seems so pleasing. Gonna make you notice. Gonna use my arms, gonna use my legs. got something. When can I tell? Gonna make you notice. Gonna use my arms, gonna use my legs, gonna use my style, gonna use my side step, gonna use my fingers, gonna use my imagination. Oh, 'cause I gonna make you see there's nobody else here, no one like me. I'm special, so special. I gotta have some of your attention. Give it to me, 'cause I gonna make you see there's nobody else here, no one like me. I'm special, so special. I gotta have some of your attention. Give it to me. And when you walk,
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Bay State Noble Hospital, a brand new name for a Westfield institution which is improving the health of our community every day with quality and compassion. Noble Hospital and Bay State Health, better together.
Wednesday mornings start off right from 6 to 8 a.m. with Tina Gorman and Wake Up Wednesday.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Here it goes.
8:20 on the nose. Doesn't it just feel better doing that, Kathy?
I feel better.
I feel much better.
Made mine.
Oh, thank you. Today is the 5th day of November in the year 2019. Anno Domini. This is the Ken's Stomsey behind the microphone as I'm each and every Tuesday. Over in the production studio, Peter Cole's Chairman Meow, getting to the keys.
He's the neighborly nabob of November.
Napalm?
No, nabob.
Nabob.
A nabob is a person who has a lot of wealth and experience and prominence.
Okay, he has one of those things.
Yes,
one of the
prominence.
three.
Absolutely. So he's a neighborly nabob of November.
Hey, you talking about my nose?
No. Your nose isn't bobbed. What's a bobbed nose?
No, you said prominence.
Prominence. Oh,
Yes.
show us your beacon, Your Honor.
I was going with the educated, not the prominent.
Oh,
Yeah.
He's educated as well.
Yes.
Yes, exactly right. Yeah.
Kathy's looking at me sticking my nose in the camera.
I know, I gotta look.
Yeah,
around.
I looked up quickly, and I'm trying to figure out exactly what I saw there. Den mother of Ken's Den, Kathy Palmer.
I am in the room.
You are in the room.
I'm in the zone.
You're in the room.
And for the first time in a month, somebody's spending some time with us.
I am not the candidate. What was that? Let's hear that again. Could that be a mule, or is it?
No.
It's not
It's
the.
a jackass, Bob.
Oh my! Oh my! Aching behind. Holy God, help me! If I didn't love you, I'd hate you.
You know what we haven't been able to talk about in a while?
What?
Oh, tell us. Oh, what? Oh, Pete, I'm so excited about this.
Oh, it's the best season ever.
Oh, yeah, it is.
It is.
Which is why I have not watched it at all.
Oh no.
Sorry.
Oh gosh.
Sorry.
There has been so much blood this season on American Horror Story.
You lied to me.
It's the bloodiest season yet.
lied to me. Ken!
Because when people die, they come back and they keep killing.
Yeah. No, that's exactly
You
right.
boys told me I could watch it because it wasn't bloody.
We didn't know how it was going to go.
We didn't. I've turned away from the screen because I cannot watch another person get hacked up. You know, it's amazing. But the good news here is...
Oh, there's good news?
Yes. All these seasons we've watched. Is it named David John Carroll, who played Krusty the Clown there? What is his name? What's the clown's name?
It's not Krusty. That's the Simpsons.
Oh, that's Simpson.
Yeah, you're thinking of
that much. I know.
You're thinking of Twisty.
Twisty the Clown. It's terrible. He's dirty. He's awful. He kills people. And we've never seen this man's face. And during this season, he is a major player, and we've watched him grow. And in actuality, we began to love this murderer because we found out he's a serial killer. But now we found out and he gets better. He gets rehabilitated in the show. But now,
originally he didn't do the killings though. Somebody else did, and it was framed on him.
Yeah, it was framed on him. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
So, are you enjoying it?
So, I think I said about maybe 5 weeks ago, Bob, I bet you everybody on here ends up turning into serial killers. And I was kind of joking around about it, but take a look at all of the people that are dead that are running around murdering people again.
God.
So we're getting to the point where everybody that started at the beginning of the season is going to be a serial killer.
Yeah, no, I know it. How many episodes are there? We're on episode 9. How many are there?
15, I think, to one of these seasons.
Are there 15?
Yeah,
So
but
we're
have you
only
noticed how
halfway through.
it's left the camp and went on the road, which was kind of cool, and they bounced around a few decades. It bounced back to 1948 to when Mr. Jingles was a kid at the camp.
Yeah.
And it explains why everything's all... Last week was was an important episode.
Excuse me.
It was the first one that Lily Robb showed back up on. And Lily Robb is playing a great character in the mother of Mr. Jingles.
Oh, my gosh. Mother of Mr. Jingles. Yes, exactly right. There are very few characters from former seasons, and it has a through line like no other. I mean, you really don't have to know a lot in order to get hooked on this.
No.
And it pays homage to all those slasher films that you probably love that you've never seen.
I wouldn't go down to the water at night by yourself.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't open that closet door.
Let's go over and hide behind the chainsaws.
Let's go down in the basement.
I love that Geico ad, by the way.
Yeah, I love that Geico ad too. Yeah.
Let's go to that running car.
Really? Yeah. Let's hide behind those chainsaws. That's the best line in any commercial.
The best thing of that whole ad is the man's look on his face when he just shakes his
Lord,
head.
yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
Just a great ad.
So,
but I would
enjoying this season.
So I put it up there with Asylum. For the longest time, Asylum was my favorite, followed by Coven.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's fallen down. Last year's was terrible, and the year before I really did.
Was last year the Warren Oak one?
No. Last year was. It took place in the future.
Oh yeah, Apocalypse.
Apocalypse. Yeah, it was awful.
I like that one though better than the previous two. The Roanoke and the Roanoke one was a snooze.
I didn't. No, I like Roanoke. I like Roanoke.
That one just didn't do it.
Yeah. But
and then the one before that I think was Cult.
Mm-hmm.
And
I love that one. I actually love that one because I like Evan Peters as an actor. Yeah.
He's mysteriously absent from this.
Yeah, well, he's having a relationship with the Halsey, the singer now. He left Emma, not Emma Thompson, Emma, whatever her name is, Emma Roberts. He left her. He was with her for 7 years, and now is with Halsey, the singer.
Oh.
And so, at any rate, he's having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I happened to watch another, speaking of horror shows, I just tuned in just to see if You-Know-Who was on You-Know-What. Was dancing on You-Know-What.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Sean Spicer is still on Dancing with the Stars. What the heck is that? And to see him, I mean, it just, oh gosh, even if you were a Republican, you would go, this man's career has gone, now that he's dancing and he's funny, or not funny, but he's laughing and he's joking and it's just, I don't know. He's trying to rehabilitate himself by dancing the tango. I don't think that's going to work.
The word is redemption.
Is it Redemption? Yeah, yeah. Just awful. But he's on Dancing with the Stars. I watched it for 5 minutes. I said, I cannot watch the show again, ever, maybe.
Don't care.
Are you serious? That's
Yeah.
just
Don't care.
I'm sorry. That's just very intolerant from somebody who's supposed to be very tolerant.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, Bob, you're
Yeah.
supposed to coexist according to all the bumper stickers.
Oh, well, all right. Okay. I give the man great credit for getting out. I give the man no credit for deciding to go on a dance show to rehabilitate himself. You
Where else are you supposed to go?
Well,
Scaramucci or whatever his name was, lasted, what, a week and a half in the White House? And now he's supposedly the expert on Trump.
Oh, I know it. And he's.
Are you serious? I watched him on like 3 shows this weekend. I was like, go away.
Yeah.
You're a little spiny little loser that couldn't even make it a week and a half.
He can't wait to start talking politics.
Yeah,
pretty
listen,
soon.
he's on the
trying to
verge.
jump right on it now.
Yeah. Sarah Palin, not Sarah Palin. What's that woman's name? The Sarah Huckabee with Sanders.
Oh, yes,
Is
Sarah.
she's on Fox now? I've not seen her at all.
I have not seen her. I have an issue, though, because on my TV at night, guys, and this is a true story.
Yeah, well.
Honestly, 42 and 65, when I'm trying to watch Rachel, it cuts out on me. I think the deep state is up in my room.
Oh.
It doesn't happen on any other station but 42 and 65. Now,
That is so strange.
Isn't that weird?
So you can't see Rachel Ray, and what's the other one you can't
It's not
see?
Rachel Ray. It's Rachel Maddow.
Oh, Rachel Maddow. Oh, I thought it
And
was Rachel. I was
42,
wondering.
I like Don Lemon.
Fake news anyway if you're watching
Here he
her.
goes. Here he goes.
Oh, here we go. Oh,
All right, you
my
went
God.
ahead and pushed that button
No.
as soon as you brought that up.
I'm just saying those.
She's on opposite that
stations
square-jawed woman who's sort of the love child of Gretchen. What's that name? Gretchen, the woman that was at 6:00 at night. Gretchen, not Carlson. What's her? No.
I don't know.
The one with Greta Van Susteren. She's like the love child
that
of
name.
Greta Van
That is name.
Susteren.
Yeah, wasn't that on your tongue?
And Gary Cooper or somebody. She's got this square jaw that you just want to hit. That's all. Please. I don't
Violence
want,
against women?
No, I
What-
know.
what-
This
what are
is
we talking
terrible.
about, Bob?
I know. Here
Do you even hear what you just said?
I know. That's awful.
You want to hit a
No,
woman?
I do not want to hit her. I don't want to hit her.
gosh.
But I do want to do
See
something.
what listening to Rachel Maddow will do to you?
Yeah.
Hey, wait! I didn't hit anybody.
Oh my word! Oh my God! To be fair,
We have never been fair. People have
no,
never been fair.
Chris Wallace
No.
on
No, it's
Fox
human nature.
is a fine reporter. Chris Wallace on Fox is a fine reporter, and I love to watch him. And
So Shepard Smith.
Shepard Smith was wonderful as well.
Shep is
And
gone.
yeah. I'm worried about is there any news? Where are we going to get our news now? Anywhere?
Newsmax.
Newsmax. Is that you need to tell me more about it before I watch it. Al Jazeera is supposed to be very balanced, as is the BBC.
That station was purchased and bought and changed. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Oh, no, I'm telling you, that's what happened.
It was purchased and bought.
Because Mr. I invented the internet, Al Gore happened to have a financial stake in that company, controlling interest.
I hear it.
And then he ended up selling it, and it became something else.
Yeah. You know
he was.
You know what
behind
my
that.
fear is that once Trump is out of office, that we're going to have Trump TV, and we are that there's
you
going
know,
to be Trump TV.
In 5 years, I might tune in to watch that, Bob.
God help you.
Because he will be your president for 5 years.
No.
See who the front runner is?
Oh.
That he might be. Oh,
Who?
man.
Who? Oh.
Right now, it's Pocahontas.
Oh. No, it changes every day.
I've got better gossip for you, though.
Yeah, tell me.
Better
Tell me.
news.
Yeah, what? Get us off this.
They haven't really announced Celebrity Big Brother for the winter yet.
Have they teased it?
Something's been teased, but not Celebrity Big Brother.
Celebrity.
Not Celebrity.
I'm in the dark.
Big Brother 2?
Julie Chen put out a picture of the wall inside of the diary room about a week and a half ago.
The Wall in Friday the Diary Room, right?
Yeah.
And what
Peter?
would that mean?
Little help here.
I don't know.
It's people have leaked things in production a little bit just to get people talking, and the industry insiders, when it comes to Big Brother, are thinking it may be a winter edition of Big Brother and not a celebrity edition of Big Brother. Because the celebrity edition isn't long enough, supposedly.
It's only like 3 weeks.
weeks.
No agent is going to allow their star to be tied up in a.
So there's
Sitcom for
a rumor
3
now,
weeks.
another winter edition of Big Brother.
That wouldn't be bad. I would.
That'll give
I
us
would
something
enjoy.
to talk about for 2.5 months.
Oh
Oh,
my
gee,
God.
Peter, let's put that on our calendar.
Yeah. Hey,
Boring.
no. Hey, I wanted to say Blacklist is great this season too. If you want a great show, go back and watch all the seasons of Blacklist. This is a good season of Blacklist. Seven.
Haven't gotten into that one, Bob.
No. Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Have you watched The Good Doctor?
Yeah.
I love that actor.
Interesting.
He was in that
It's
Psycho.
wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
Freddie Highmore played
Norman Bates.
Norman Bates, the
Yeah.
young Norman Bates.
Yeah, in the Bates Hotel.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah, he was excellent.
He-
He's a wonderful actor. He was a little boy in the Finding Neverland movie,
Okay.
or one of those early movies as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And when he
the
gets
kid
onto a
actor.
talk show, he doesn't talk with an American accent. It's
Oh,
really
no.
strange.
Yeah.
It's really strange seeing that happen.
Yeah, I really.
It's
yeah.
always odd when they do that.
But like
Yeah.
Hugh Laurie was the same way.
Oh
Yes,
yeah.
Hugh Laurie,
Oh,
absolutely.
sure. It's exactly.
I think that's why I like The Good Doctor, because it's very much like that show House. You know, it's produced by the same guy.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
I've gotta
That's why
see
they
that.
kind of have the same feel a little bit.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same guy.
Yeah.
did not know that.
I have been, strangely enough, after we watch the news around 6 and 7, I watch, what's his name? Ari Berman? No, what's his name?
What
The-
network?
No, it's CNN. No, it's MSNBC at 6 o'clock. Oh, God. It's The Beat with Ari Melber.
Ari. Ari.
That's a new one.
Ari
Melber.
Ari
Yes.
Melber. After I watch that, we usually watch a film or something. But lately, I've got this urge to read and just to turn the TV set off and go and read. And I don't know whether it's my
Oh,
age
but
or
Little
not.
Mermaid
I
is on
put
today.
local.
What is that?
Little Mermaid.
Little Mermaid is on
8 o'clock.
live, and it's a mixed version of cartoon, and it's done by Disney, so it ought to be good. The Little Mermaid live, if you can tune in, or after you find out the
It's wonderful.
the-
And
If
we
it's
had-
made by Smuckers,
the
it has to
election
be good.
results.
I'm going to
Yes,
jump right in on that.
Oh, The Little Mermaid. Did you see? Have you ever seen a Disney cartoon? Speaking of entertainment, there, Mr. Ken Stomsky, have you ever? What is your favorite Disney?
Not willingly.
He's maligning.
When you were a child, did you enjoy any of the?
I wasn't in a Disney.
were you
wasn't a child.
Were you in the club?
I was.
I was.
I
me
was
too.
a Warner Brothers and Hanna-Barbera kid. I didn't do the Disney stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
So you were watching?
I had the cowboy outfit for Roundup Day.
I was
Okay, yeah.
I was watching the Coyote and the Roadrunner, not
I
Disney.
liked them.
Yeah.
So you didn't grow up with Bambi and Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs?
When I
and
was
Cinderella?
a kid, I hated Bambi. I hated Mickey Mouse. I hated the way he sounded. I mean, he just irritated the living hell out of me. I remember at 11 years old, 10 years old, somebody go on a trip down to Orlando and come back with those stupid mouse ear hats.
Get out that
And I
mouse
just
trap.
look at them and like, you are such a loser. And
The name calling today, Peter.
and
Oh.
that's what my childhood was like with Disney.
Ah.
And then of course I was living with a girlfriend
explains
for a while, and her younger sister would end up coming over, and it'd be playing on the TV nonstop.
Yeah.
So I'd walk by and I'd recognize, oh, that's a Little Mermaid. Oh, I recognize that. That's whatever.
I see. I
But
see. Well, this
yeah,
might be an opportunity
not a
for
fan.
you to say.
And I'm really, really not looking forward to making the list at the end of the month because of that damn topic you picked up.
we're doing Disney songs at the end of the month.
Yes.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Hey, speaking of the election, you and Pete, and you're on this channel tonight.
Pete, why don't you educate Bob on this? Give him an education.
So we will be live at 6:30 p.m.
Right.
From City Council chambers
Right.
as they read the tally numbers coming in from all the wards.
And we're all looking to the monitor, trying to watch you talk. And
No, see, I
don't
have,
see
I have
anything.
poop.
There you. Oh, there you're.
I got to put myself back in there. Hold on.
All right. Coming up. There he's here someplace. There you are.
I had to change the channel.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
We'll be on live.
Click that Veractor.
Yeah, right. See,
there we are.
I can put you guys back in there. Look at
Yeah,
that.
look at that. Oh my gosh.
Anyways,
Yeah.
We will be live at 6:30 from City Council chambers. We'll be reading the numbers live. So if you are a media outlet and you don't want to send somebody over as a reporter, you can watch it live on Channel 15 or WestfieldTV.org. Isn't that a cool service we're doing?
It is.
And if you're
it's great.
a person that's never been to City Council chambers for an election, I've once. It's pretty cool, actually.
Does everybody, all the candidates, are they all in there, or
usually
are they?
have people that are there. They're at their headquarters, wherever their headquarters are for the night. They usually have people there with cell phones calling numbers in. A lot of candidates, if they have a bigger organization, send them to actual wards. So when the numbers are read at the ward, they have them right there and they call them in. People put them up on the boards, things like that.
So you actually see they have a board where they put the votes going up and all
I
of
believe
that?
she reads them. I believe the city clerk has to read them out loud as part of the election law.
I see.
So she will be reading them right into a microphone for Channel 15.
Wow. So you can go on WestfieldTV.org because I don't, unfortunately, I have Whip City Fiber, so I don't get Comcast. So.
Did you say he unfortunately has Whip City Fiber?
No,
Did you hear what he
I
said?
fortunately have it. No, I'm unfortunate that I can't just turn it on. That's what I mean. I love Whip City Fiber, actually. Yeah. I do. What are you saying? No, I do. But in order to see it, I have to stream it, so I go on WestfieldTV.org. Right? And I can get it on, you can get it on your laptop, Kath.
So Pete was just talking about...
the trolls are already coming out about our 9 o'clock guest.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh,
The usual suspects.
Okay.
I love it.
I wonder how they have any idea because I didn't say anything.
I just promoted that we'd have a guest.
All right, but did you mention a name?
No, I did not.
Okay.
But they think they know what they're talking about.
They think they know what's going on.
Yep.
All right, because I didn't leak it. Kathy, did you leak it?
No, I didn't tell a soul.
All right,
I talked
Pete,
to you,
Pete, did
that
you
was
leak?
it.
Is it somebody famous?
I have a whistleblower in town.
A whistleblower. Is
yeah.
this somebody that makes whistles?
Not quite.
Oh, God help us.
I can let me see. Kathy, do a nice whistle. Let's hear a
I
whistle.
cannot whistle.
You can whistle?
No, I can't. Okay. Ow. Oh, stop.
That's
You know how many
whistle.
dogs in Westfield you're driving
They
nuts
just
now,
came-
Bob?
They're outside the window there, Bob.
You know that is as bad as you know, Bob. That you doing that onto the microphone is just as bad as me saying this.
What?
Hey Google, set an alarm for 11 p.m. tonight.
And what does it say?
Oh,
What does
Hold
the
on.
Google
Bob,
say?
stop. Bob, stop.
What is it?
Alexa, play soothing music for a dog. That's for all the dogs you just annoyed out there.
I see what you did there, Pete.
Yeah.
But Bob,
Give him some relief.
I know I went past my break, and I'm going to be doubling up in 4 minutes because Pete did mention the election.
Yeah.
And today is actual election day.
You're going to play a song.
And you're
appropriate?
here?
Yes.
Pete, I am a little hot. You can come down a little bit on that.
And now it's time for therapy with Bob Plass.
There's a knock on my door. Oh, it's a bell. Come in.
Quick thinking,
Oh,
Bob.
you have a cold?
That was the room next door.
Oh, I'm sorry, the other patient. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Come right in
The
here.
other patient. Huh?
Yeah. Well, all right. I call you've been patient sitting out there in the lobby. Do you enjoy the magazines out there?
All the good pages are ripped out.
Oh, I know it. Well, I encourage my my patients to rip out whatever they want. So you
I'm not. Well, I didn't whip anything out.
Yeah, that's a problem.
But
Yeah.
I did let all 8 of the subscription cards fall out onto the floor, and I left them on the floor.
Doesn't that madden you? You must get mad from Yankee Magazine has 40 envelopes that come out when I get that in the mail. Everybody wants to get a subscription to Yankee.
I don't.
No, I know. What are you here for today, my friend?
Well, it's been a troubling 5 weeks. Sometimes during this past 5 weeks, I've been called partial or biased. Sometimes I've been called great and awesome for everything I've done. Mm-hmm. And I've worn myself to the bone. And I've
Today
got
is
a lot
the
of energy.
end of it.
And this is the end of it. And I don't quite know how I feel about it.
You have an election
I feel
week,
like I feel like
election week's hangover.
I feel like I might be going from a hero to a zero now.
No, never.
Because from after today, I have no purpose.
You have a purpose. You have a purpose. You inform us all about so many important things. Name one thing, Kathy, that Ken informs us about, that it's really a service to the community. There is nothing better, Ken.
That's not true.
No,
You
on a
interview
Tuesday
people from
morning.
all over the city.
Yeah, when Tuesday morning and I hear you and I hear your rant, I sit here and I laugh and I laugh and I laugh. And, in these days, we need a laugh, and you give us a laugh. You make us laugh. And isn't that important?
So when you laugh, you're laughing with me or at me?
No, I would never laugh at you, Ken.
The air in here is really thick right now.
No, I would never, ever laugh at you. You're looking me in the eye. No, I would laugh.
Do our fellow board members from WA watch this?
Oh, my God.
That'll explain a lot, won't it?
Oh, my God, help me. I can't help it. Have you ever...
All I have to do is look at him now.
Oh, my God, help me.
This is
You
troubling.
crack Bob up.
Oh.
That doesn't happen very often.
And look, he's turned red.
Holy mother, get my digitalis.
That's like the 4th time I've made Bob turn red so far.
I've got to look and see how. Oh my gosh! Yes. Yeah. I'm glad. I usually have low blood sugar, and now, but Ken, you have I enjoy you, and because I enjoy you, I want you in my life every Tuesday morning and beyond. And are you
still going to charge me $50?
That's going to be $50. I made you laugh. You're feeling better, aren't you?
Oh Lord!
Hey.
Yeah, Kath.
I just feel $50 lighter now.
That could be.
Dude, oh no! But you look great. Now get out there.
I think I lost weight down in Chincoteague.
Yes. Hey, look, get out there and vote today, and don't think that it's all over. We'll have people on that will want to come on and complain.
This is the most important election that affects you every day.
Absolutely.
This one right here.
So get out there and vote.
I thought he was getting ready to say get out there and volunteer.
Well, get out there and volunteer too. Hey, at what time is it? I've got it.
It's time for you to go watch Regis and Kathy Lee.
I do, and I'm going first though because I'm giving myself a little time because I'm going to the senior center to vote.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
that's where I vote too.
We'll see you there.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's take that little marker. And we'll promise to use the leftmost stall, and we'll write a little note to each other on the table in there.
The left hand. Well,
don't do that.
We can't do that. No, we're not allowed to do that. Listen, leave your $50, and I'll see you next week.
Get out there and volunteer.
Thank you.
Last night I had the strangest dream. I sailed away to China in a little rowboat to find you, and you said you had to get your laundry clean. Didn't want no one to hold you. What does that mean? And you said, ain't nothing gonna break my stride. Nobody gonna slow me down. Oh no, I got to keep another girl like you. I will tell her, never want another girl like you. Have to say, oh, ain't nothing gonna break my stride. Nobody gonna slow me down. Oh no, no, I got to keep on moving. Ain't nothing gonna break my stride. I'm running and I won't touch ground. Oh no, I got to keep on moving. Ain't nothing gonna break my stride. Nobody gonna slow me down. Oh no, no, I got to keep on moving. Ain't nothing gonna break my stride. I'm running and I won't touch ground. Oh no, I got to keep on moving. Ain't nothing gonna break my stride. Nobody gonna slow me down. Oh no, I got to keep on moving. Ain't nothing gonna break my stride. I'm running and I won't touch ground. Oh no, I got to keep on moving.
Support for community radio on WSKB is provided by Betts Plumbing and Heating Supply Company, an independent, family-owned wholesaler serving Westfield for over 50 years, specializing in plumbing, heating, and industrial piping supplies. On the web at bettsplumbing.com or at 14 Coleman Avenue in Westfield. Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Dunkin' Donuts Shops of Westfield and the Sardinia family. It's nice to know that even as the world changes, Dunkin' Coffee remains the same at 7 convenient locations throughout Westfield.
Wednesday mornings start off right from 6 to 8 a.m. with Tina Gorman and Wake Up Wednesday.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
You were very lucky. We managed to pump your stomach just in time.
Oh, thank God. I had him pump my stomach, too. Doc, what was in there?
Well, it's a pretty extensive list. I'm gonna need Billy Joel to help me out.
Lots of Legos, rubber bands, web
Oh,
shooting,
no.
Spider-Man, an old pet rock, an antique clock, a ton of red Play-Doh. Colored pencils, lots of nickels, half a jar of plastic pickles, banjo strings, chicken wings, a single by kilo.
I didn't poop those items. They were in my tummy because they all look yummy.
He didn't poop those items. He tried
Where?
to eat them, so
Where?
you shouldn't feed him.
Wow, that was great, Billy. Hey, does anyone call you Bill Joel or William Joel?
No. Does anyone call you Petey Griffin?
No, they don't, because I'm an adult, which is kind of what I was getting at.
851.
The name of.
And-
Did you even find that?
You know, oftentimes, you know, I watch the reruns at night, and I'll see a cutaway, and I'm like, you know what, I gotta have that, and then I go looking for it.
Oh, Lord.
And sometimes I'll do that from my bed on my tablet. Sometimes I'll do that from my media room. Sometimes I'll do that from my hotel room when I'm on Chickateague Island in Virginia.
And you didn't warn us.
That is a new one for you, isn't it?
It is a new one. It's a great. That's a good one.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
So I did spend a few days down on Chincoteague Island with Peter Coles over the past few days.
I heard
we went down to watch the Antares NG8 mission with its
NG12.
What did I say? NG8.
8. That was your first one.
No, the first one was OA8.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah. I said 8 because I mentioned that at the hotel to the owner there one night. But it was the NG-12 Antares mission with its Cygnus payload delivering
upgraded rocket, upgraded spacecraft,
12,000 pounds of supplies to the
8,300. Did you really pay attention to the briefing, or are you just kind of sleeping through that? Seriously.
Actually, I went back to.
Actually, it's 8,300 kilograms.
I went. Kilograms. I went back through some articles and I saw 12,000 something, and
yeah, it's probably is about 12,000.
And yeah, so.
Children!
I do know what I do know what's happening here. So it was a 230 plus model Antares which means it had some structural differences, and that meant
a lot more
that,
solidly
that
built.
when they were about to approach max Q or maximum dynamic pressure, they didn't have to throttle back. They were able to keep throttle at 100% through that entire time.
Okay, what you said. Okay, what he said.
And there were several press conferences. Pete was absent at the first one for part of it, but I did film it, and I'm going to grab that video and cut some things out of it because there's a Professor Ting.
There's some really good science stuff on board.
A lot of good science stuff went up here. Now, Professor Ting from MIT was down there talking about how antimatter and matter react to the alpha magnetic spectrometers that he designed.
He's doing this on purpose now, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's doing this on purpose.
I'm doing it on purpose, but they really talked about antimatter and dark matter and gray matter in regards to the alpha magnetic spectrometers.
Oh yeah,
and they had it. They had
have one of those.
The current alpha magnetic spectrometer on the space station. It has like 4 or 5 cooling units on it, and all but one have failed.
Okay, wait.
Because you need
it. What is an alpha what is it?
It records radiation and gamma rays and
Thank you.
things that we can't even see.
Okay.
Things that supposedly exist but don't exist but still exist.
I'm not touching that one.
That's why I'm going to grab this clip
that's
of this
going.
professor talking about alpha magnetic spectrometers, and I'll put it up on social media. I'll come to your level for some more science that went up, because they don't just send food up. They send science projects up and experiments. And actually, this time, because they can now late load the unit, and when I say late load the unit, they have the rocket at the pad. And then they bring it to a horizontal position and open up they have a newly designed fairing in the front, and they can late load up to L24 with additional supplies. So they actually sent up some live rodents now. So it's the first time live rodents will be arriving up at the Space Center. It was supposed to be grappled Monday. I didn't go on TV yesterday to see it, but the 2 female American astronauts up there were in charge of the mission to grapple the Cygnus module.
It docked around 4:10.
They docked it already.
Yeah, it's already been docked. It had about a 48-hour catch-up period.
Yeah, I knew it was happening sometime on Monday. So, yeah, on top of all that, they put all types of science experiments, and the first oven was sent up to the International Space Station.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a specially designed oven to see how a chocolate chip cookie will bake in space.
People bake chocolate chips?
They have special holders so that the dough doesn't fly around, because you're in microgravity. Right? And then a special slot to put it in for cooling. And nobody knows what will happen when you try to bake a cookie in space. And all these are steps for us to eventually, go further out in the space. Sure. And there's also there's a special, there's a fan or an outlet or something on this oven that they said that you will actually be able to smell the chocolate chip cookie being cooked on the International Space Station.
Are they selling the station? They always tell you if you're selling your house to bake chocolate chip cookies. They have the smell of cookies.
Yeah, they have the smell of the cookies in the house. And then as we were leaving that press conference, we were each handed a Cookies in Space badge and a space cookie.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, they nailed that presentation
do you keep
pretty
it or
good.
Do you eat it?
I brought it home because I don't eat things like that too often. So now when I'm craving something, I'll have it because it's sealed in a wrapper. But that was our trip.
I saw the picture of the badge, and you got into that. That was really cool that you could get into the talks. That was really very cool.
Yeah.
I was impressed.
Yeah. There's another group that's building another pad down at the Wallops Flight Facility, or as they'd like to call that section, Mars, which is a Mid-Atlantic regional spaceport.
Cool.
And there's going to be more launches going up there, so I think we might be going down a little more often. Right now, it's like May-ish and November-ish. And May, well, I'm in Vegas, so I usually miss that launch. But I like going down to learn more about the science involved because, yeah, you can watch something for 15 minutes on television and you know what's going on with the mission, you know what the payload is. But you can't walk up to these people who are involved with it and ask them questions and talk about it. And Kathy, these scientists and engineers love to talk about this stuff.
I bet they do.
I remember Pete was at the brewery last year, and he started talking with some of the folks from NASA, and they just went on and on and on, and he's not able to respond because I don't even think he's listening, because I'm looking over in the control room right now, and his headphones are off, and he's looking in the other direction as if he's talking with somebody.
I guess he's not paying attention to it.
So I could cut away right now to my top of the hour and nothing would happen.
Interesting.
See that? Okay, I heard silence. He
It's
turned around to
telepathy.
see what was going on.
It's telepathy.
Yep. All right. I'm mentally shooting him a thought right now, and it's not getting through the glass.
Are they acceptable thoughts? Maybe together.
If I were to actually verbalize what it is, I'd get fined by the FCC. I can't say that on the radio. Look at this, 9 o'clock, WSKB 89.5 FM Westfield, WCPC Channel 15 Westfield Community Programming. Coming up after my top of the hour.
If we ever get a top of the hour, we may not.
I have a guest coming in here who asked to come in.
Okay.
And
deep breath.
And there are already some folks out on social media guessing who it might be. And you know that's okay. I heard the microphone over in the production studio.
Yeah, there's
open.
an incident going on in the control room.
Okay, is the incident over?
No, but why don't we go to a break?
All right, because I'm ready to.
Okay.
All right.
Underwriting for Community Radio on WSKB is brought to you in part by Rockies. Over 30 convenient locations throughout Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Connecticut, and Florida. One of the nation's largest ACE dealers. Expertise and great product selection in paint, hardware, lawn and garden. That's Rockies. Rock solid service since 1926. On the web at rockies.com.
One of our underwriters here at WSKB's Community Radio is Carson Center for Health and Human Services, a nonprofit organization located at 20 Broad Street in Westfield. They provided behavioral health and rehabilitation services in communities throughout Western Massachusetts since 1963. There are services for children, adolescents, adults, families, and couples. You can find them on the web at carsoncenter.org or at 413-572-4132.
Wednesday mornings start off right from 6 to 8 a.m. with Tina Gorman and Wake Up Wednesday.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
9:06 on the nose. It's the 5th day of November in the year 2019. Anno Domini. This is the Den, Ken's Den. All right. Now, here in Ken's Den, I have always been fair and balanced. I never take sides. I may agree or disagree with ideas, but I always allow both sides of the story to be heard. All right. Most people know that I may not be friends with everyone, but I'm friendly with everyone. Sometimes I also love to play devil's advocate. All right. We've had over 13 hours of forum, debate, and interview coverage during this election cycle that was recorded. This was considerably more than in the past. And we also carpet bombed Channel 15 with it on Saturday.
Can I say
Sunday,
something
and
before we
Monday.
start this? Hold on. I'm going to say something. I'm getting in person and on Facebook saying that we are not abiding by the fair time rules. If this issue was not brought up during the at-large debates, then this person would not be on the air right now. And I'm being intimidated to my face by people. And
I
on
wonder
Facebook.
why.
And I won't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Public access is meant for public access.
So, all those recordings were available at the WSKB and WCPC YouTube channels, as well as for on-demand viewing. What I have coming up now is an exclusive, all right? As Pete said, at the at-large forum, there was mention of emails going out to the citizens of Westfield, all right? Under the direction of my producer, we're going to bring on air a person who knows the truth of who was sending those out. I only confirmed and certified this guest on Thursday, whilst en route to film a NASA video special. All right, I had no knowledge prior, but I did have suspicions. Now let's face it. At this point in the game, I do not have enough viewership at 8 a.m. for this to have much of an effect on the election. But for me, this is more about me having the exclusive on the story now. I also want to mention that this person asked to come into the studio. I did not go out looking for anything. So, Steve Donnelly, we are having you in today to acknowledge the fact that you were indeed behind something.
Yeah, thank you, Kenny. Thanks for having me in. Appreciate it.
What did you do?
Well, it's not so much what I did. It's about what someone on the ballot and people on the ballot have done. That's what the issue is here. It doesn't matter who the messenger is. What matters are the facts. And the facts are Councilor Emershy has been involved with many, many lawsuits. I've talked to people involved in the lawsuits personally on the phone. They did not have nice things to say about Councilor Emershy. The facts are out there that Councilor Flaherty had some failing businesses. He had liens taken out against him on his home. That's a fact. Now, how people vote on that, that's up to them. If they still want to vote for Councilor Emershy and Councilor Flaherty and Councilor Surprise, they can do that. They should have all the information that's available because people do factor in these kinds of things into their vote.
Is it fair
Whether you
to say,
personally do or don't, that doesn't matter.
Is it fair to say, though, that if you've had a lawsuit against you, you're not going to have good things to say about the person on the other side of the lawsuit?
If I had a lawsuit against me, well, of course.
Yeah.
But the facts are, Councillor Emershai violated laws. He was forced by a jury to pay back his tenant a security deposit. And it's all documented. This isn't stuff I'm making up. You can go to the courthouse. You can look at these court cases, and you can see that he lost the cases. You can see that he threatened a potential tenant, and the tenant got so scared that she backed out of her lease and wanted to sue him to get the money back. These are all factual things. These are not things I'm making up. And again, people will have to decide if they want to change their vote based on that, or maybe they like them even more because of this information. I'm not the one to judge. I'm just the messenger.
All right. Okay. All right. I'm good with that. Are we also going to use some of the new technology that we have?
Yes.
Okay. Let's jump around to a few of these here. For you, was this at any bit personal?
Well, again, Kenny, it's not about me. This is not personal. I've been involved with Westfield politics since 2010, since long before I ran for city council. I put up a blog about Dave Flaherty 9 years ago when he started attacking the teachers, which made me really angry. And it does make me angry when I see politicians basically putting out nonsense and bad information. That really does get under my skin, because these counselors have a public and civic duty to tell the truth. When I see them lying constantly on the water issue, yeah, I get a little aggravated, a little peeved. Not because this is about me, but because they are bamboozling the public, and they are not doing or fulfilling their public obligation to get good facts out. It really distresses me.
You just said that they lied about the water situation. What lies are you referring to?
Yeah, so I put up a post a few days ago about Councillor Emershai and Surprise and Allie's lies about the water issue. These are easily debunked lies. So, for example, Councillor Emershai says that they're filling the hangars up with 3 or 4 feet of PFAS, which is completely false. On October 1st, the commander, Colonel Green of Westfield Barnes, put out a letter saying this is not PFAS. This is HEC, high expanding foam. Doesn't contain any PFAS. And yet Emershai on the 26th, in a letter to the Westfield News, anybody can go and read it, says it's all PFAS. It's just a blatant lie. It's scaremongering. It's fear-mongering. This is not what a responsible city councilor does or should be doing. And there's a whole litany of other lies in my post, which you can read on Facebook. And it's disgraceful. I think it's disgraceful, and they need to be called out. You cannot let politicians just say anything and let them get away with it. That's wrong. And I'm tired of people not standing up and calling these guys out on their lies. And so I'm doing it.
We've had accusations that you're running an illegal political action committee by putting those emails out.
They don't know the law. And it's, again, they want to attack the whistleblower. This isn't about the whistleblower. This isn't about how the emails were released. This is about city councilors who are doing a poor job and who have track records they'd rather not have you know about.
Did you look into the background and request information for every one of the candidates running? And if not, why are you only singling these out?
Again, what does it matter? I know from talking to people that Emershai, and these are people I've talked with personally, people who've known Emershai for a very long time, did not have nice things to say about him. They mentioned that he was involved with some lawsuits.
So are you saying you did not look into the background of any of the other candidates other than these 3?
No, but that doesn't matter.
Why did you target them?
I didn't target them. I knew from talking to people that Emershai had a pretty shady background.
Well, it appears
and
that
so I did.
We have to hit both sides here, Steve.
Stop.
Yeah.
Peter.
Yeah, Pete.
It appears that you're targeting certain counselors.
Okay, so if you want to say I'm targeting them, fine. That does not change the fact that these are facts and everything I've put out is true. If you want to go, anybody's free to go and investigate other city councilors. Let them do it. Let them do it. These people talk about transparency all the time until they don't, until it upturns something that they don't like. So why aren't we talking about the good thing that I've done here, which is make things more transparent? I've brought forward public documents that clearly show these guys aren't of good character.
But only,
at least in my opinion. Now you can make your own decision. Maybe you think these guys look great from these documents. That's up to you.
All right. Are you concerned with any ramifications that may come to you by publicly coming out and admitting and sending those emails?
No. Let the chips fall where they may.
All right.
Again, this is about getting good information out, getting good facts out. I think that's important, and I think that's worth any personal risk to me, which I think is very low. But the truth has to come out.
It's been suggested that you were working in a allegiance with a sitting member of the council. What do you want to say about that allegation?
Totally false. And if you want to talk about allegiances, let's talk about these guys running as a slate, working together, putting out mailings together from the Massachusetts Republican Party. They're all working together as a slate. Surprise is going out there and campaigning for other candidates. That's an allegiance that's plain as day that is out there. So why are all these suspicions around me, which are completely false? I'm working completely on my own. And there's no focus on them coordinating and working together. We just had Mary O'Connell come in here, who's working in allegiance with them, trying to videotape me. Why aren't we talking about that allegiance between her and these other counselors? Isn't that more important? They're on the ballot, not me.
You say that they're working in allegiance with each other.
Yes, they're clearly coordinating.
Right. Coordinating their...
There's nothing illicit about that. I'm not suggesting there is.
Okay.
Even if I was coordinating with people, which I'm not, so what? That's politics. You work together with others to try to sway the public how to vote. There's nothing illegal about that.
9:16, Pete. I think I need to do an underwriters, and then we'll be right back.
Underwriting for Community Radio on WSKB is brought to you in part by Rockies. Over 30 convenient locations throughout Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Connecticut, and Florida. One of the nation's largest ACE dealers. Expertise and great product selection in paint, hardware, lawn and garden. That's Rockies. Rock solid service since 1926. On the web at rockies.com.
One of our underwriters here at WSKB's Community Radio is Carson Center for Health and Human Services, a nonprofit organization located at 20 Broad Street in Westfield. They provided behavioral health and rehabilitation services in communities throughout Western Massachusetts since 1963. There are services for children, adolescents, adults, families, and couples. You can find them on the web at carsoncenter.org or at 413-572-4132.
Support for Community Radio on WSKB is provided by Betts Plumbing and Heating Supply Company, an independent, family-owned wholesaler serving Westfield for over 50 years, specializing in plumbing, heating, and industrial piping supplies. On the web at bettsplumbing.com or at 14 Coleman Avenue in Westfield.
Wednesday mornings start off right from 6 to 8 a.m. with Tina Gorman and Wake Up Wednesday.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
And I'm looking for my little clock there. There we go.
Wait.
9:18 and a half.
Yes.
All right.
Oh, where's your second hand, Kenny?
Yeah, that's my job. I have to get him on the head.
Oh, you got a clock on the...
Okay, question from the audience.
Do it.
Steve, if you're so honest and open, why did you use fake names and addresses on your communications? Because you don't live at Domino's.
For precisely this reason, it brought more attention. It created some mystery around it. I knew people would know it was me. Come on.
I didn't.
Well, a lot of people suspected it was
so
you.
again, who cares? Why aren't we talking about the facts? Why aren't we talking about the facts that Councillor Emershai tried to gyp somebody on the lemon law? That speaks to a character of someone who's on the ballot today.
It speaks to a character.
I'm not on the ballot. I'm not on the ballot.
It speaks to a character, but it also speaks to dirty politics, which it's been mentioned that this is kind of smelling like.
I don't think it's dirty at all. This is all public record. All public record. I didn't snap nude photos of the guy like Katie Hill. I mean, that I would consider that dirty. But there's a lot of people out there who, if they knew this information, would change their vote as a result of it. And that's not dirty politics. That's just giving people good information, stuff that's on the public record, stuff that anybody can go and look at the courthouse.
You know, with an anonymous email going out, however, there's no way for the people being...
Again, what does that matter, though, Kenny? Facts are facts. If an alien dropped this information from the sky, it wouldn't change the truth of the matter.
Right.
I don't know. I think
information
I see
can also
both
be
sides.
skewed.
Yes, I see both sides. I understand what you're saying, but
Well, I'm not anonymous anymore, am I?
right. And I think sometimes when we hide it, it gives us less credibility.
Well,
I do think that happens.
I'm here this morning, and I have a Facebook page. Clearly identifies myself as the author. I've got nothing to hide. These guys have something to hide, and that's why they're making a big case out of this. They cannot refute the facts. They know it will cost them some votes, and they don't want this talked about. And that's kind of shameful for people who are talking about transparency all the time, I think.
Where did you get your email database?
Again, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to this. I've been doing things in the community for years. I've had petitions circulating, New Year's Westfield. I've had all different kinds of ways to collect emails. But again, it's irrelevant. And by the way, to Councillor Flaherty's assertion that this is a violation of the Canned Spam Act, absolutely false. The Canned Spam Act, which is
Can you
regulated
explain
by
that
the
to the people? Yeah.
the Canned
'Cause I have
Spam
no idea
Act
what
is,
that is.
regulated by the FTC, Federal Trade Commission. It was passed to regulate commercial speech, and in fact, there's a specific exemption where it doesn't apply to political speech, which this clearly is. There's nothing commercial in nature about these emails. It doesn't violate the Canned Spam Act. And there's a little unsubscribe button at the bottom of the email, and if people didn't want to receive them, they could unsubscribe, and I didn't send any more emails to those people who unsubscribed through that interface.
Right, because there were reports of people requesting to stop the email from being sent to them, and it was...
MailChimp handles that. If they hit the unsubscribe button, MailChimp takes them off the list, and I didn't put them back on. But again, and again, this isn't about me. This isn't about the legality of the emails, and they're perfectly legal. This is why aren't we talking about the content of the documents that I released? Why aren't we talking about those?
What made you use Domino's as an address on your emails?
I just made up an address. It wasn't
just out of the blue
for Domino's. No.
With all the research,
but Kenny, really, is this what we're going to talk about? Why I came up with Domino's?
I think it's relevant, Steve.
Why is that relevant to Emershai cheating people? How is that remotely relevant?
Because you're also deceiving people.
Because I'm not doing.
I'm here. How am I deceiving people?
Because I'm not running a show just to slam on candidates. I'm interviewing. I'm asking questions that people have.
Well, it's just a random address, Main Street, and I came up with a number.
So with the months and months and months of research that you did, and you took the time to verify everything correctly,
it wasn't months and months. It was pretty easy to do.
Yeah. So you something as simple as an address. You didn't want to verify that you might be using something you didn't want to use.
It was irrelevant. It was an afterthought. Didn't even put any thought into it. I said, "Oh, Main Street. Okay, need a number. I don't know what I use. I use some number, random number."
All right. Let's see. What do we have here? You mentioned that it's all public record. Can you reference your claims to any official documents?
Yes, I have photos of all the documents. They're linked to in the email. I've got more copies of the documents at my home. And you can go to the Hampden County Courthouse. You can go to the Westfield Courthouse, District Courthouse, and you can go and look at all of these documents yourself. Nothing I created on my own.
What did you hope to accomplish by doing all this? I'm curious.
Well, getting the truth out and getting out factual information about the character of these candidates. I think everybody has the right to know these things. You know, when I hear some very shady things about a candidate, that alarms me. Maybe it doesn't alarm you or other people, but it alarms me. And I think it would alarm many other people. And I think they should have this information, all the information available to them before they go and vote.
It's been suggested that there are a few other candidates that may have had things in the past, such as an arrest or a visit with the court. You didn't seem to go after any of that, though, or to try to get any more information on that. It was only these three. So I'm just trying to figure out if it's just a personal vendetta against these people, or if you did your due diligence and you're looking out for all of us with all of the candidates.
Well, like I said, Kenny, anybody can go to the court. They can go. They don't even have to go to the courthouse. They can go to masscourt.gov, and this is what I did because I heard some pretty bad stuff about the candidates. Did a Google search, first name and last name, and up pops these documents. It wasn't. I didn't have hear anything about the other candidates. I heard something about Emershai, and I went and did a search on him. Pretty easy.
We have a caller on the line, on the hotline.
Okay, we're gonna put some new technology for us.
Caller, are you there?
Caller, I'm here.
Oh,
Counselor
I
Flaherty,
hear a
hello.
familiar voice.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You messaged me saying you wanted to go toe-to-toe. Here's your chance to go toe-to-toe.
Yeah, well, I don't want to go toe-to-toe. I mean, this guy's rolling around in the muck, in the gutter, and he knows clearly in my case that I've explained this stuff several times. It's not embarrassing to me. It's embarrassing because it happened, but I was on the radio with Tina before these emails came out, and I talked all about it. I've talked about it in the past. I have a flyer from 2013 that talks about business challenges.
Well, I applaud you for I applaud you for talking
Hold on,
about
Steve.
it.
Both sides.
Steve, you don't apologize for anything. You clearly have done this the week before election, trying to target 3 candidates that you don't like. That's what it's all about. That's all it's about for you, and it's all it's ever been about you.
Dave, that's when people pay attention.
Conversation,
yeah,
please.
Go ahead.
Steve, you had for 10 years. You've been targeting me. You have a website like Westfield City Schools needs to be saved from Dave Flaherty. That's been up forever. You had
No,
me
that's
burning
not
in
the-
fire.
Steve, go ahead, Dave.
You had the Truth Squad website. You have this crazy city council website. You clearly have a bug up your ass about me. And that's,
Hey, Dave,
you
we're
know,
gonna watch on the,
it's a
Dave,
political-
point out
sorry, I know, I
one
can't
thing
use
that
word,
is
sorry.
not
All right, hold on.
correct. Point out one thing
Steve,
that I've
it's
put
not-
out that is not
well,
correct.
You erased all of our comments about the things because you're clearly trying to persuade people in a certain direction. And then you've completely ignored many of the other candidates. I get stuff about people having affairs. I have people getting bankruptcies, people owing credit card debt, just like everybody else in the world. You're just trying to make salacious stories going into an election in order to change the outcome. And you're selectively targeting the people you don't like. And then you hide behind poor Mr. Domino's guy. You clearly could have put your name at the bottom of these things. If you're so out there in the open like you are in the city council.
Dave, I'm at Channel 15 right now talking to you.
You weren't there when
on
you sent out
TV.
thousands of emails. You weren't there when you sent out thousands of emails. You used fake names and you used fake addresses intentionally to hide who's doing this.
No, it wasn't.
That was your intent.
No,
It wasn't your intent.
How do you
to
know
hide
what my?
who's
And then we
doing
go. I've gone back and forth with you on this over and over
That's
again.
not your intent. Your intent was
can
to
I
be out there
finish?
in the open.
Can I finish?
Hold on, Dave.
Can I finish?
Sure. No, yeah. Can
excuse
you answer
me,
the
Steve.
question? Was it your intent to hide yourself?
No,
Was your
it was
intent?
not. I
It
knew
wasn't.
people
Why
would
didn't you
know.
use your real name?
Dave, we let you speak. We're not going to stomp on each other because
Okay.
nobody can hear
See,
anything. At that point.
Dave always wants to read malintent into people, and that's part of his issue. That's part of his conspiratorial. I'm not done. I'm not done. So that is part of your conspiratorial nature. You think everybody is out to get you and this and that. No, the reason, and I've already explained. Wait a minute. I've already.
One person.
Hold on. One
Wait a
person
minute.
At a time. One
I've
person
already
at a time.
explained to Ken earlier that the reason I did that is it's a little bit of showmanship. It calls attention to the emails. That's all. I want these emails to get out. Yes, that is absolutely true. I want people to make a decision based on the information on these emails. Yes, that is true. That is the way politics works. Now, if you've got dirt on other candidates and you want to come out with it, feel free. This is a free country. If you want transparency...
Not everybody wants to play in the gutter, Steve. Not everybody wants to
It's not the gutter. These are factual court documents. These are court documents, Dave. Court documents. Public record. Cheating people on their car is
one
about
person
the
at a time.
character.
One person
Cheating
at a time.
people on a security deposit is about their character. Claiming you're a financial guru when you have failed businesses is something people might like to know. And I'm getting the information out. I'm sure I understand why you don't like it. I absolutely understand why you don't, because it doesn't paint you in a favorable light. I understand that. And listen, and I commend you. I commend you for getting out there and putting out a video and saying, here's what happened. I'm glad you did that. I thought that was a smart move.
You were so glad
Now let's hear. I'm not done. Now let's hear from the other candidates why one works for extreme right-wing ringers in the state across the state of Massachusetts and gets $13,000 a year to work on anti-transgender votes.
The same reason you work for the Democrats.
I don't work for the Democrats. Now you're making things up. That's not my job. That is not my job. I'm not on the ballot, Dave. Surprise is on the ballot. You're on the ballot.
Steve, you've inserted yourself into this issue by putting these emails out and coming
Okay,
on.
then don't vote for me.
Now,
don't vote for me.
But they're not voting for you. But he
The
has a
voters
right.
Not voted for you year after year after year.
He has a right to ask.
See, this is a
question.
personal vendetta for you, Dave, and I can hear it in your voice. It's a personal vendetta for you.
Go away. People are sick of you.
I'm not going to go away. This is a free country, Dave.
It is.
It is. Yes, it is. Why do you want me to go away? Why do you personally want me to go away?
Because I'm sick of dealing with you for 10
Too
years. You have
bad.
nothing
Too
better
bad.
to do.
You
have the right to do it,
Dave,
Steve,
the
but
amount of
you're still an
misinformation
asshole.
that you've put
You
out
really
over the
do.
years is mind-boggling, and
It's
you don't
not,
like to
Steve.
be
You haven't
called
proven
out on it. You
Okay,
don't like to be
back,
called out on it.
both of you stop for a second. Backstory, this has been going on for a long time between you two. You have a fundamental disagreement on budgetary numbers. You have a fundamental disagreement on how OPEG is laid out. You have a fundamental disagreement on almost everything. So this is long-standing, okay? And I'm laying this out to the voters.
And you know,
anything I've ever done.
because what you say is nonsense. It can't be proven.
And gentlemen, for years and years and years, yeah, we've been like, okay, let's get Dave and Steve in the studio at the same time, or on the phone at the same time. We've just never decided to do that. Now,
anything that I've ever said.
Now, Dave, hold on a second. Now, if
just stir crap up.
hold on a second, Dave.
Hold on.
Now, when Steve approached me and said, I want to come on to the show, I'm like, okay, well, you know, the morning of the election, it's not really going to hurt too bad because I only have 23 people listening to me. But I knew that within a second or two, that word will get out and the accused will be wanting to come in and call. And we're doing that. And we're doing that this year. So,
let's have it out. Absolutely.
I am still getting both sides of the story here to air, and ultimately that is that's my job here.
And just to let the viewership know that at 10 o'clock after Steve departs, Counselor Surprise is coming on for like 20 minutes or so, and we'll talk to him about, you know, what he wants to talk about in rebuttal to this. If Counselor Emershai wants to call in at the same time, more than welcome. He can just message me for the hotline number.
All right.
I got no problem with that, and I really don't never have.
Pete and Ken, I have no problem with you. I think you're doing, you know, a good thing. But you know, on election day, it could have been better handled. And
This is when people talk about politics, Dave, on election day.
No, Steve, you're using this intentionally to stir crap up that
No, I'm getting facts out. Do you have a problem with
Well,
facts?
I think-
Do you refute anything that I've put out?
Dave, I think the pot was stirred long before this. We're just putting an end to it by airing it out there by saying the person who was
It's not
anonymous.
gonna ever end with Steve. It's
Well, that
not gonna
may
ever
be true.
Oh, stop!
That may be
stop
true.
going bankrupt and
Well,
and stop
Steve,
getting court
knock it
cases
off.
filed.
Steve, knock it
Hey,
off.
those are just shots. And
Yeah,
I said at the top of the hour, we're not taking shots at people here.
All right.
All right, Dave, go ahead and finish whatever you were saying.
If he actually did some research and listened to things, I didn't go bankrupt. Somebody went bankrupt on me, and that caused a lot of problems. And if you have a big business,
Well, Dave, where was your
have a lot of
5-year
influence.
plan?
Steve, that's another shot.
All right,
I'm going to
sorry.
shut off your
All right,
microphone if you
it's-
continue to do it.
it's all right, I'm sorry. I do apologize.
It's not on topic.
Go ahead.
You know, car companies go bankrupt, restaurants go bankrupt, banks go bankrupt. Things happen, Steve, that are beyond your control, and that's the way things work. And you just keep on trucking and move on. You know, that's reality for many small and medium businesses. And I clearly haven't hidden it. I was on the radio talking about it before you even sent the email out.
Well, you knew it was coming out. You had hints that it was coming out.
Steve,
I've been dealing with it for 15 years, Steve. There's nothing hidden. Anybody that's ever talked to me about business knows about this. So just because you find it titillating going into election, you know, it doesn't change the fact that I've been talking about it for years. The other two candidates will come on and defend themselves if they're given a chance.
They will be.
Yep.
In my case,
chances offered.
He put this stuff out there in the public forums, and then he shuts off commenting, so that he is.
I didn't shut off commenting. I did not shut off commenting on any post.
No, not Pete. Sorry, Steve.
Oh, okay.
Steve turned off commenting on the post. He puts it out there, and he lets his people reply, and then anybody.
Oh, kind of like other forums, Dave.
Steve.
I don't control any other.
Okay, all right.
On topic.
You
know, no, he may have a legitimate beef there too.
No, and sending the stuff out anonymously is clearly a campaign finance law violation. It is. It's intended to manipulate votes. It's a campaigning message. It's not, you know, some public service that he's doing, you know, that's unbiased. It's clearly a campaign message with a target. And
Dave, I'm not anonymous. I'm right here. You're talking to me on the phone.
Anonymous when you
we got cameras out there. I'm here telling the world those emails are me.
After the fact, that's like
there's no requirement that you have to. There's no requirement you have to put who funded it, and there wasn't any funding. They were put out there by free. Anybody can go on Facebook, set up an anonymous account, and put things out there. The OCPF isn't going to come after you. It's just false. But if you want to file an OCPF complaint, feel free. But you're not going to get anywhere with it. You can't file a complaint because you're not going to get anywhere with it. And what you just said is false. You're making baseless allegations.
No, you're required to identify.
No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not.
Campaign finance ads.
There was no finance. There was no money behind this. It's all for free.
Oh, it free?
Yes,
you think
free.
MailChimp runs for free?
Yes, they do, Dave. Go look at it. They've got a free plan. You can send up to 2,000 emails a day. I'm not done. You can send. And then you can blast out all the nasty things you want about me if you want.
I actually use MailChimp quite a bit.
Well, you're wrong again because you're always wrong. You're wrong on a lot of things, Dave, and you're wrong about MailChimp's free plan. Go look it up. I'm not going to argue with you on MailChimp here. Jesus, go look it up. It's on MailChimp. I did it. I'm not lying to you. God almighty. See, this is your problem. You insist reality is your way when it's not. This has always been your problem. Right. But anyway, you're getting me aggravated. You're getting me aggravated, as you always do.
Let Dave respond to that.
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
I didn't. Yes, I do, Steve. I use MailChimp a lot.
It doesn't matter if you use it. There's a free plan. I just used it.
Steve.
I said they have free plans.
Yes,
Steve,
2,000 people.
It's just like saying people get health care for free. And people
oh
get.
Oh my God! What is that? I can't talk to you because you're crazy. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about. I sent these out for no money. I didn't spend a penny on emails. Capiche? That's it.
I get that.
Okay, then shut up about it.
I get that.
Steve.
What?
I'm going to shut off your mic. Don't tell somebody to shut up. This is a conversation.
It's aggravating. There's facts. There's reality.
Okay if it's aggravating, but you need to keep your composure, your mic goes off.
See, this is why I didn't do this in years past. All right, because if Jean-Luc Picard was taught, it was futile, right?
That's good radio.
And honestly, okay, I have an ego.
I think you should do this kind of thing more often.
I have an ego, and I did this just to have the exclusive, just to have people saying, "Hey, look, you know, Kenny finally did something that he shouldn't have on the radio." and
listen. I think what you're doing is excellent, and I know you're going to get a lot of
pushback
for it.
I wish we were talking about the topics at hand and not.
Well, that's right. You want to make it about you want to make it about me and not about the facts. Let's talk about the facts. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Talk about the issues in Westfield, not about the.
Okay, let's talk about lying about the water. Let's talk about how Surprise and Emershai and Ali.
But you're talking about them now. You're talking you're talking to Dave.
Right.
So it would be Dave's views. Go ahead, Dave.
And I want to give Dave some credit for not going with those guys and voting the right way on the water issue. He deserves some credit for that. So I'm willing to be big about these things. I'm not here to attack Dave.
And I'm right about so many other financial things, Steve. You don't even realize it.
Oh, is that right? Is that because you're a
Yeah.
municipal finance expert? Is that right?
I don't
How
say
come
that.
no one else
You're the
agrees
one
with
that
you
said
then?
that.
Nobody else agrees with you. The OPEB stuff is all smoke and mirrors. You were
that to the people when they try to
since
get their
2010. You watched some woman on 60 Minutes. I forget her name now. You were a big follower of her. What was her name? MW was her initials. But anyway, she thought there was going to be a wave of municipal bankruptcies in 2011. And you were beating that same drum. You said, oh, there's going to be, Westfield's going to go. Dave, come on. You were constantly
Westfield is
talking
still
about
on track,
bankruptcies.
as I've been saying.
Dave, come on. Don't change history here. That's all you've ever talked about. That's all you've ever
I
done.
haven't talked about bankruptcies. I've talked
OPEB
about
is
challenges and
all smoke
unreliable-
and mirrors. Yeah, we owe $220 million in OPEB, but you know what? Over the next 50 years, the city's going to bring in something like $50 billion in tax revenue, which
How are you going to do
makes.
that when you hit this tax levy ceiling, Steve? How are you going to do that?
Dave, do you want to talk about the tax levy ceiling now? Do you want to know what the appropriate response is to that? Do you really want to go there? Because it's not going to make you look
why don't
good.
you say what you have to say, Steve? Because
So if you talk to any municipal finance expert, a real municipal finance expert, the appropriate measure to take when you approach the levy ceiling is to tax to the hilt, to the max, shove as much money into the bank as possible so that in case if you do hit the levy ceiling, you've got a nice financial cushion. Right, a nice financial cushion to spend. You haven't been saying that. You haven't been saying that we need to go to 2.5%.
All right, Steve,
you have not.
You finished your statement. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, so Steve, I have said that. The problem is they don't want to save the money. They want to spend the money.
I haven't you
If we
said
put the money into
Steve?
if we put the money into stabilization, Steve, I would have supported that. However, we're not putting into stabilization. We're just passing the buck for the next generations, and we're spending.
So you're on the record as saying that the appropriate thing to do is go to 2.5% or tax to the
It
max
was
each
years
year.
ago.
Is that right?
It was years ago.
When
yeah.
have you said
It
that?
was years
I would like
ago.
to see that. I would like to see a statement
That was
from
one
you.
of the options. The problem is we don't save the money. Your plan, which is,
I-
and I've talked about before,
Hold on,
and I've talked
Steve.
to other financial experts, is of course it makes sense to bring in more money and put it in a savings account for a rainy day. That's not the way Westfield does things, though. Westfield, when they get a nickel, they spend a nickel and then some.
But you're the guy who's always saying
problem.
that you're not afraid to speak truth. The truth is you should tax to the hilt right now and shove it into the bank. That's the fact.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
the fact
okay,
is,
so
Wait a minute,
we're
hold
in
on. Do you
agreement.
guys seem to agree on something?
Yes.
You guys agree on
don't
this?
tax to the tilt. Yes. You don't tax
Wow.
to the tilt unless you're guaranteed to put the money in the savings account. And that's not the way things work in Westfield. If we bring in the tax money, it gets spent. And all your union buddies want all that money every single year. They do. They want it now. We can't even afford what we're paying
Dave,
now. We can't fix our roads, and they want
Steve.
$7 million more money. Where do you think it's coming from?
All right, Dave, let's do a little tit for tat. Now, you just said my union buddies. So you run a business, right? And you, from your video, all of your work was government work. All the work that you mentioned, all the work that you mentioned in the video.
was
So
talking
you
about
do
government
quite a bit of government work, and I think you should be
Yeah.
upfront about that.
I do, yeah.
Okay.
He did mention
But I
that
also-
during his
I
candidate
do it-
interview, Steve.
No, can I just say that, when I do government work, it's all fair bid. Any bid goes. It's not, controlled union-based government work. It's
Well, there's a difference
on
between
something
private.
and-
Dave,
Yeah.
there's a difference between private sector purchasing and there's a difference between public sector purchasing.
Absolutely,
So
yeah.
that
And I think
you
people
can't
know
compare
that.
and contrast that. They're two completely different things.
Yep, they are. And they at the state level and at local government level.
Right. It
I
has to
bid
go
on
out to
things
bid.
just
There's
like
different
any company.
purchasing laws. So
Yep,
so
different
Steve.
purchasing laws depending on what you're buying.
So Steve
Dave,
chooses
can I
to
ask- can I
wait a minute.
ask-
Hold on. Wait.
sorry.
Let me finish.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
So Steve chooses to work with private sector.
I work with both. The state projects that I talked about were intended to make people aware that I work with lots of big agencies around the state, and that it's not just I'm a local web company in Westfield making websites for mom and pop shops.
Okay, that's fair.
We do some really cool thing. So that's why I
And-
mentioned that. It also gives me more experience in a variety of government matters, around the state.
And I remember that
That's why I
after
mentioned that.
after the last presidential election, Steve got rid of a client that came out in support of the president that he didn't, the candidate that he didn't like.
That's true.
And I give him credit for that. It's not always the best business decision
No.
to drop a client upon principle, but he
Good
did.
thing he wasn't gay. Good thing he wasn't gay.
What is that supposed to mean?
Yeah. What was that
That's
question
happened.
about?
I mean, the baker, refused to do business with somebody, and they got sued. Because
So do you believe that's
political
wrong? Wait a minute, hold on.
structure
I want to follow up on you because you opened that door. Do you believe that's wrong?
I believe people can do business with whoever they want. I choose not to do business with certain people. Certainly, whether they're gay or not isn't part of it for me. But
Right.
if I choose not to do let's say the KKK wants to come to Westfield and have me build a website, I can say no, and I have the right to do that.
Correct.
And there are certain, I'm in the Catholic Church with certain beliefs. If somebody comes in that has opposing beliefs that my family doesn't agree with, I'm likely to say, no, thank you. There's plenty of other web companies out there that can do your work.
The difference is, though, this isn't about beliefs. Being gay is not a belief, Dave.
All right, Steve, we're not going down that rabbit hole.
We're
We're talking about choice of. We're
Steve,
talking about
please
choice
stop.
of business. We're talking about choice of who you do business with.
Right.
And I
And
commended
all that
you,
has
and I'll
nothing to
commend
do with
him.
Westfield anyhow.
I'll commend him the same way. But
Yeah,
do you
no,
guys have
and,
any? All right, so here's the thing. Do you guys have anything new to add, either one of you?
Well, can I ask
No,
Dave a
think
question?
In the future, Steve should identify clearly who's sending these messages.
That's a fair thing.
Here I am.
Well, that's
and
a fair
I go
thing.
on Facebook and I put my name on everything that I send out. I don't have fake profiles. I don't send out fake emails. I put my name on it.
Okay.
And I answer questions from anybody. There's a lot of people that reached out to me in the last few days who didn't know things, and I clearly wasn't hiding it. As I said, I was on the radio before it even came out.
Well,
and
and
I asked these questions on all of these topics. Hundreds of people ask me questions about OPEB and the debt and the levy ceiling, and many people just don't understand it, and I take a lot of time to explain
And
it.
Dave, that was the whole point. Honestly, that was the whole point of bringing Steve on here, because I personally, after it was brought up at the council at large debate, and the rumors were flying all around, and everybody seemed to know who it was, or they were intimating other things. It was starting to get out of hand. And when he came forward and said he wanted to come on and say, "I did it," I said, "I will give you the venue to do that," because there were so many rumors flying around, and then other names were being dropped in there as well as being in cahoots or in consequence. And I wanted to dispel those rumors because it was getting out of hand. So now there's a face here and there's a voice here for those listening on the
I never had
radio.
any question about who was doing it.
Well, and
for
that's
me.
fine, but that's fine. But now the person is on the record for doing this.
And that's exactly how it happened. I was sent a text by Mr. Donnelly. Said, "Okay, well, are you going to have me on your show now?" And I ignored it. And you did. And I showed it to Pete like a day later when we were on the road because we were talking. And Pete said he'll come on if he'll admit to everything. So I agreed to that, and that's how it started. But I ignored the request for a day.
And he
What was that,
talked to
Dave?
me
Hold-
about it too. He talked to me at length while you were in the car. Yeah.
No, and I appreciate it. I think
Dave, can I ask you a question?
Hold on, Steve. I wanted him to finish, please. Go ahead, Dave. Just finish what you're saying because it got stepped on like 4 or 5 times.
Oh yeah, it's just if he identified himself originally, it wouldn't have been a problem. Everybody knew it was him.
I
it's
didn't.
Just, you didn't. Well, I mean,
I think there are a lot of the
Not everybody follows politics as closely
Yeah, a
as
lot
you.
of people who are not connected into the political scene or don't pay attention, which is a lot of people, had no clue who it was, including there's some staff members around here that were asking me at the
I
Technical
had
Academy
no clue.
that were asking me who it was. So
I recognize his writing style by now. So.
well, that's
I've
okay, but
been
you know,
dealing
but
with
you're
me for 10 years,
But you're very familiar with him, so you would. But the general populace did not, and that's the reason why we're extending Ken's show by 20 minutes today to give people who were targeted, and I say targeted because they were, a chance to rebut it without having a debate. But you said you wanted to come on and take them on, so I said okay. I got no problem with that either.
All right, but again, this
And I
is
can just
again,
say
and
that
this is
the,
going.
Hold on.
We get
Go
your
ahead.
point.
I thought he was done.
Sorry. So there's I just want to say so I mean, and Pete knows this because he's heard me say it before, but as candidates, we get all kinds of dirt on other candidates. People send us stuff that you wouldn't believe, and there is stuff out there on many candidates that, frankly, I just throw in the shredder. And I've had other candidates say, "Hey, look at this piece of titillating news I just got. Somebody found this scoop out about this person, and somebody's had, like I said, affairs or gone bankrupt or owes people money or been
That
sued."
stuff is sent to me too, Dave, and I ignore
It's
it.
all over the place. Right, exactly, Ken. And we ignore it. We throw it in the shredder. There's new candidates, and they get hit up by the same people making these claims. There's people out there that hate the city for many different reasons, and they keep coming at us with these, crazy conspiracy programs and all this stuff. And I say the same thing to them. Say, we've all been on the end of that phone call or opened up that envelope, and if it's not relevant to you, just throw it in the trash, because you're being, targeted and manipulated and all that. So.
Well, Dave, everyone has their own decision-making process as to who they vote for. It's not for you to judge what should be relevant and what shouldn't. Which just should not be relevant. And again, we're not talking about the facts of the matter here. You've successfully diverted it away from Matt Emershai, away from yourself, and away from.
No, you're telling people that.
I'm not done. I'm not done. You've successfully diverted it away and I understand you don't want these things to be known, and I understand that you don't. That's fine.
That's not true.
But
that's not true, Steve. I'm going to interrupt you on that,
Yeah.
because he brought some of these topics up during his candidate interview. He did.
Yeah.
So
okay, and I backed it up with documentation.
Okay, that's fine. But he brought it up. He didn't shy away from it.
Not at all. And I don't mind that the things are being exposed. What I mind is the manipulation of an election a few days before it by anonymous sources.
Well, again,
no longer anonymous.
Political message.
Dave.
Yeah, I know, but
And again, you want to make it about the messenger, not about the message.
it is about that's what we're calling in for, is because you weren't identified in these messages early enough so that people had a chance to respond.
And that's about the messenger. That's not about the
shutting
message.
You're clearly shutting down opposing.
Shutting
views
down?
on a
How am I
forum.
shutting things down?
On the forum, you erase comments and lock people out of a forum. that's
When
public.
people spew nonsense, it doesn't have a right to be seen. That's my forum. If I go to your house, listen, if I go to your house and start spewing obscenities and nonsense and interrupting your dinner, you have a right to throw me out. Just like in a public forum, if someone says nonsense that's not even pertinent to what we're discussing, I get the right to shut them out.
I know. And that's
Okay, Good, we're in agreement.
The voters spoke many times in elections, and that's what they were talking about. So.
Well, they didn't have all the
All right, well,
facts.
thanks, Pete, and thanks. Thanks, guys.
All right, and
good luck, Dave.
hopefully you'll hear from the other guys.
Counselor Surprise said he'd come back at 10 o'clock when we change out, when Steve leaves. And Counselor Emershai has messaged me for the telephone number, and he has got it. He will also join us on an extended edition.
Fantastic. I'll see you out there. Good luck to everybody who's running.
Absolutely.
Everybody, please vote if you're listening to radio at night.
You know what? Today,
Please get out there and vote.
what I've tried to tell everybody is this is far more important than a presidential election.
Oh,
is that
absolutely.
this affects your day-to-day life far, far more than a presidential election, and this is usually the least amount of turnout. I'm hoping with a very clean mayor's race that was run, except for people on social media. The two candidates themselves were very clean, and honestly, the city is incredibly lucky because we have two candidates running for mayor that can run the show on day one, and who have completely contrasting styles of government, and you can choose who you want, but the city wins either way because they have two competent candidates running for mayor.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. It's going to be a big day. I can tell you, I was at Ward 6. I was trying to be number one again, and I was. But there were 20 people behind me at the door before the place opened.
That's great.
And I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that in years. So I expect a good turnout. I know some people are worried about the weather, so they were telling me they were coming in early instead of waiting till later. But
Well, I hear there's only supposed to be a
think
chance of
there's great
showers, so that's supposed to be good for the
but
weather.
it's cold out there, and it's raw, and people weren't sure. But this is the first time I've ever been there and had 20 people behind me in line. So I think that's a really good sign, and that's going back to when Roeder was in the race against Knappich and Sullivan and other things. So I think it's going to be a really good turnout.
That's outstanding.
And I also want to say, anybody that wants to see my version of the video, you can go to my Facebook page. It's City Councilor Dave Flaherty. There's probably a dozen videos on there about all kinds of topics, including the ones that Steve covered in his email.
Just don't believe all of it, folks. That's
I don't have
Steve.
to believe it. I really don't. I don't use the word believe. I put the stuff out there. I give you tons of information that's backed up, and people can go do their own math. So. All right. Well, thanks again, guys, and see you soon.
Thanks, Dave.
Yep. Bye.
All right, Steve, I have about 4 minutes before I need to go to music on top of the hour. You have 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
Say your piece.
Fact-based only. If you seriously, if you throw shots, I'm shutting your
really,
mic off.
Yeah, no shots.
No
all
shots.
fact.
Really, this is about this is about a wider problem that we're having in politics in general. It's not a good thing that we don't have a robust news collection anymore. It's been decimated by the likes of social media, by the likes of Twitter, and unfortunately, people can put anything out there. Even city councilors, they are free to put out any kind of information they want, right, wrong, or indifferent, and they do not get fact checked. And that is the bigger problem that we're having right now. I posted on my Facebook page about the lies about the water issue. The water issue. Now, this is a public health emergency. Maybe emergency is a little bit too strong of a word, but this is a very serious issue. And we've got counselors who are literally making things up about the water issue. That is completely unconscionable. And it's not of good character for them to do that. Now, I've also put out documents about these candidates, factual documents that also talks about their character. All right? When you try to cheat people out of money, that's not a good thing. That shows you don't have good character, that you have to get sued and you have to pay money back to that plaintiff.
Steve, can I ask one quick question?
Yeah.
I know you're on your soapbox, but you mentioned the water issue. Why didn't you just stick to that topic?
Well, because I'm tying it together right now. I'm trying to show that the characters, the character that they display in public with their statements about the water issue are directly tied to the character that is shown by these documents. They want to say these documents are irrelevant. They are not irrelevant. They speak directly to the character of these people. And that's why they were brought out. Now, they're sensational, absolutely. Will people pay attention to them? Absolutely. And if that's what has to be done to call attention to their other lies on stuff like the water issue, which they are completely out to lunch on, then so be it. But these are facts, and people would want to know these facts. I'm very glad I got these facts out, and now people have the whole picture. Maybe not the whole picture, because there's other things that I did not go into because I did not have documentation for it. But now they have proof and evidence that these guys aren't of good character. Now, that's my opinion, of course. They'll have to decide for themselves. But they do have more information and interest of transparency. That can only be a good thing, in my opinion.
I'm out of time, Steve.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming in.
If anybody goes after you, let me know. I'll fight back.
People will come after me, but those who really know me know that I allow both sides to come out here, and we're going to have
we'll do shortly.
And we're going to have a
maybe Kathy will get into it next time.
I'm
No,
just, there wasn't a chance. I'm just listening.
I got you.
All right, music break.
All right, thank you.
quickly on. It's so hard in the middle of the week. Maybe this woman's just all I need. Oh no, not again. It hurts so good, I don't understand. Infatuation. Infatuation. Just all I need. Oh no, not again. It hurts so good, I don't understand. Infatuation. Infatuation. Infatuation.
Support for community radio on WSKB is provided by Betts Plumbing and Heating Supply Company, an independent, family-owned wholesaler serving Westfield for over 50 years, specializing in plumbing, heating, and industrial piping supplies. On the web at bettsplumbing.com or at 14 Coleman Avenue in Westfield.
Wednesday mornings start off right from 6 to 8 a.m. with Tina Gorman and Wake Up Wednesday.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Look at that, Kathy. 10:03 and a half.
Oh,
it's
I
the
missed
5th
it.
day of November. We're extending the show about 20 minutes. We're not going to be on the radio, but we'll be on Channel 15, which is
I
where...
think we're going to try to be on both.
Both.
Oh,
Okay, so that's
my poor
changed.
cows. My cows are waiting for me.
Yeah, regardless, that this will be, as usual, recorded, and it'll be up on the Channel 5, the WSKB YouTube channel within a few hours. In the studio now, Andrew Surprise.
And if you're watching on Channel 15, I just got us back up on the air there because we're usually off at 10 o'clock. So
yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Peter.
Yeah. All right. So I knew that within minutes of Mr. Donnelly coming on here, that folks would want to respond, and And you know that I knew that was going to happen, and that's fine. You know, as I mentioned earlier, you know, it's part ego, but part I wanted Steve to own it and say, yeah, I did it, and then let the community make up their minds. You're in here to I don't want to say debate or otherwise.
I was
but
offered to come on
Respond
there.
to.
Steve.
Yeah, respond is the word I'm looking
I
for.
was
Also
offered-
on the phone, I believe, is Counselor Emershai is on the phone.
How you doing, Matt?
Matt, you were there?
I am here.
Okay, good. So you heard my whole preamble there, so you know the whole reasoning behind what's happening this morning.
So yeah, I mean,
I did.
I was offered.
Hang
Go
on.
ahead, Matt.
So
All right.
the propaganda radio, Sullivan Knappich Radio, is living up to its name.
All right, thank you, Matt.
It feeds itself.
They actually asked them pertinent questions.
And also, we didn't want this to continue to remain anonymous. He offered it, and we accepted because we figured, let's put a face to the name. Everybody rumored it. Everybody did this. Everybody did that. Well, now he's on the record, and you guys can go after him if you'd like to.
So I'm not going to go after him, but what I will do is clarify the things that he's done and the things that he's doing and the information he's putting out there, which is his opinion on information that is truthful and accurate. But I do want to say that I was offered to come on with Donnelly, and I won't do that because I'm not going to sling mud back and forth because, in my opinion, and you get into the mud with a pig and you get dirty and the pig gets happy. So that's what I think about
Gotcha.
it. So he's talking about Matt. I'll let Matt talk about his own information, but for me, I don't work for extremist organizations. I'm a contract independent consultant. I get hired by consulting firms. I get hired by political campaigns. I get hired by nonprofit groups to do fundraising things for them. And yeah, they tend to lean more toward the right end of the spectrum. It doesn't mean they're extremist. Just because you happen to disagree with Donnelly on, certain political issues doesn't mean you're an extremist. And I hate to throw it out there because it's, the way that I would put it is, look, he's saying I work for extremist candidates. I worked on the campaign of State Senator Dean Tran. I got him elected twice. I was his social media director. Okay? He is the first Vietnamese American to serve in the Massachusetts legislature. I'm very proud of having done that. He also had a transgender campaign manager who I worked alongside every day. So I don't know how Donnelly can say I'm biased.
He calls me a right-wing kook, so I get it.
So and then to go on top of that, I mean they call us biased, they call us racist. I'm a quarter Hawaiian. I'm multiracial. I'm my grandmother is full-blooded Hawaiian.
Thanks for bringing that up. I have something to pick on you about now.
I didn't know that, actually.
I did not know that either.
No, I know that because his very first interview when he first ran, he mentioned it.
Really?
So, yeah, there's no bias here. I mean, all that we've been trying to do, at least I can't speak for every candidate, but I can tell you the main things that I'm trying to do is just make things more transparent in the city government because it's not, okay? We don't record our meetings, and a lot of information that's important that goes into the decisions that the council makes are made behind closed doors. And it's granted it's a public meeting, but how often do people with lives, jobs, families, senior citizens, the meetings are held later at night. They're not always going to come out to the meeting.
The counterpoint to that was, and I know people have brought this up, is the counterpoint to that is, isn't this where the real nitty-gritty stuff gets worked out, and if the public really wants to see it, they can interact with the counselors? It's more of an informal type of thing.
But it's not something that's difficult to do nowadays.
Right,
a lot of communities do it, so there's no reason. It's in relation to what we actually, spend in the city on things that are irrelevant, in my opinion. Pickleball courts. We can spare $10,000 to wire a few rooms to do live broadcasting. It makes no sense to me. But, getting back to, the other things, no, I don't take money from extremist organizations. I don't take money from any political action committee groups for my mailers. If everybody can go into the city clerk's office, see my campaign finances, almost all of my donations are from Westfield. They're from Westfield citizens, large and small donations. And anybody who donates from outside, maybe some people that I've worked with in the past, family, friends, and that's about it.
All right. I know Matt's on the line here, and I don't want to completely neglect him. What's on your mind, Matt?
Well, I mean, I guess the big thing is, Steve presented all this, of course, obviously anonymously, and he hides behind the fact that, these are public records. Well, you know what? He's 110% correct in that respect. They are a public record. Now, normally, there's, three sides to a story. In these cases, it would be the other party, my side, and whatever the decision of the court was. But in this case, there's also the fourth side. There's the Steve Donnelly slant in the stories. And that's the part that really bothers me. And I knew right from the get-go, one of the cases that he sent out there mentions me from 2017. I got dragged into something I had no part of. I was subsequently dismissed with prejudice, the only party, I believe, that could be dismissed with prejudice from the case. But during that case, I was getting ready to file for a dismissal. I went and I pulled the case, and it came up with his request for copies. So at that point, once I knew he was nosing around, for instance, there was, as he mentioned, as he calls it, Emmershai was party to a paternity case. No, I was not party to a paternity case as Steve makes it out to be, so people think I'm a deadbeat dad. What it really was, my wife, Kelly, and I were not married at the time. My name was not on my son's birth certificate. So I filed, and Steve says for people to look this up, look it up. I filed. I was the plaintiff. I was the petitioner in the case. I established my right to have my name on my son's birth certificate. And yes, the case is sealed because it's none of his business, and he was specifically the reason that the judge granted that the case be sealed.
Well, and this is why we wanted to have you guys on.
Well, and I think another important thing to point out, Matt, you found that document in May of 2018 that he had signed asking for your documents.
Correct. So
he's been playing this for a long time.
So then he brings up, that I had to give a security deposit back. Absolutely. I am a landlord. Landlord-tenant law in Massachusetts is absolutely atrocious.
It always favors the tenants, no matter what.
Absolutely.
Ken, full disclosure, you're a landlord too.
Yeah, so I'm aware. Yep.
So at that point, I had a situation. I had 5 college students, and this is the one that Steve was referencing at the beginning. I had 5 college students move into this 2-family house. All new 6-panel doors in there. Everything was updated, redone. They hung wall units off the lath. They ripped entire walls off the studs. They put locking doorknobs on. Oh, well, I locked my key in the room, run right through the door. This is what college students do. After they moved out, I believe it was 11 days, we're going back 10 years here, 11 days after they moved out, they filed for the security deposit. Under Chapter 186, Section 15B, I'm afforded 30 days under the law, and I need to account for the deposit and interest and sign under the pains and penalties of perjury. If there's any violation to that, I'm subject automatically to triple damages by the court. So they sued me. They presented their side. I presented my side. I had 5 students, 4 parents that signed. They initialed every page. They signed, the undersigned hereby acknowledges receipt of an executed copy of this, tenant lead law notification, and a statement of condition form. Now, the magistrate in Westfield said, where's this form? I gave it to them. By law, I was required to give it to them. They said I didn't give it to them. So I provided the court with the tenant before, the tenant after, and a sample copy of it. He said, well, this meets it, but it's very specific. You need to prove that you gave it to them, which that's not what the law says, but that's what he said. So ultimately, he found against me because I could not prove what I gave them, and I was required to give them by law. So I appealed. We went before a jury. Now, at that point, the court had stated to the jury no less than 20 times, that the magistrate had already found me responsible. What jury in their right mind is going to sit there and say, oh, well, you know what? We're going to overturn this because the court's wrong. It was stacked against me. I still stand behind that 110% of the time. The one that I categorically been absolutely flat out denied, and I can prove it to this day, is the claim from Kathleen Tice with the whole gun and intimidation and everything. The real story there is her father was my manager at Singular, which subsequently became AT&T, at the time that a tenant on Mechanic Street pulled a gun on me. I was evicting them. They pulled a gun on me. I then went with 3 coworkers from AT&T to Smith & Wesson when it was the Shooting Sports Center was open, got my license, and learned how to shoot. There's no secret there. Well, he called me looking for an apartment for her. I show her an apartment. She likes it. Her boyfriend couldn't afford tap water. So at that point, I had to tell her, listen, you are jointly and severally liable here. You make plenty of money. You are good to rent this apartment, but he's not going to be able to come up with his money. So she ultimately backs out 3 days before move-in. Now, I had taken a deposit, half a month's rent. I told her I will give you your deposit back because I know your father, even though I'm not required to, minus $150, which is the cost that it cost me to screen the 2 applicants. Well, she wanted all of the money, and she wanted it immediately. So I said, well, that's not going to happen. She said she was going to sue me. I said, well, take me to court. This was all done by text messages and a couple emails. So once I saw her court complaint, I actually went and I printed out my phone log, which should be in the court file. I brought in my phone with the text messages, which I still have that old phone, and I brought in the emails. So she made her claims to the court, and I said, well, that's not true. Here's the communications. She was never threatened, which why would I threaten my former boss's daughter that I was trying to help out? But I presented everything. I showed them the deposit form. The case was subsequently dismissed with prejudice. She then claimed, well, Mr. Emmershai said he was going to give me back, X amount of money. So the magistrate said, well, I already ruled, but, would you be willing to do this?
Hey, Matt, can I interrupt you for a second? I just want to let the people out there know that this is an extended version of Ken's Down. We're going to be going till 10:30, and I just want the person in the studio know we're going to be going about 13 more minutes. If he would indulge us, it looks like he's giving me a thumbs up, so he's being okay with that. We're cutting it to student time, but I think it's relevant that we keep both the Channel 15 and the radio going.
And I want to acknowledge with Matt that tenants, there's a whole group of tenants that just abuse rental units, and they go in to destroy one every year, then they go on, and then they go through the court system. I had cigarette butts put out in the carpeting in one of my units. Not just once, but everywhere.
Yeah, Massachusetts is a very biased state for landlords.
And more like 8 times the damage than the security deposit.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't do anything about it.
So, but the other thing I wanted to jump onto because
I get it,
but Donnelly addressed it is the water. So it's an emerging contaminant.
Andrew, hang on. Let me get through.
Yeah, let him finish that quick thing.
So I mean, really, things are not necessarily as they seem. If people actually go in and look beyond the initial complaint, because anyone can claim anything that they want in Massachusetts. You can sue anyone for any reason at any time. Whether it's valid or not is another story. In that case that he's sitting there bringing to the voters of Westfield on Election Day, I was dismissed with prejudice. She could not sue me again. She did not have a case. So then the other one, he says, well, Emmershai sold a car in violation of lemon law. I did not violate the Massachusetts lemon law. I sold him a car as is for $900. It needed a brake line. He knew that. Now, Massachusetts, you can't sell a car as is. Okay, whatever, fine. He went, he waited, I believe it was 17 days to have the car inspected, which it failed for the brake line, and he came back to me. He had already registered, titled, insured the vehicle. He wanted me, and it shows right on his complaint with the court, he wanted his money back, but he also wanted me to pay for his title, his sales tax, his registration, his insurance, his inspection fee. He wanted me to pay for everything because he decided to back out on the car. This was a car, had no signs of any rust on it. He said there was rust on a rear control arm. We took a car seat out of the car right before when we sold it. There was no indications that there was anything wrong with this car. It had never failed inspection in its life, so we go to court. Ultimately, it was finally agreed upon that he, because the car did have rust in that area, he would get his money back, but only the $900. I had no problem giving him his $900 back. I had a problem with giving him his title, registration, sales tax,
Right, and that's why you go to court.
insurance, all that stuff.
Right, that's why you go to court.
If someone's that unreasonable, I'm not going to sit there and go back and forth with them and have them threatening me and everything else. Take it to court. That's what the courts are there for.
Mm-hmm.
But Steve presents these as though I'm scum of the earth, that I'm out to stick it to people. I have worked my heart out to represent the voters and residents of Westfield. I have done nothing wrong in those situations. Things come up, you handle them, but as far as I'm concerned, it's a matter of how you handle them when they come up.
All right, Matt, we've got about 8 minutes left.
So
We've got to give Andrew some time, too.
I want to jump on to I want to jump on the wall. No, I was happy to let Matt talk about that.
Okay, that's fine. I
'Cause
just
Matt
didn't
was-
want to... Yeah.
Matt's been the center of the attacks. But I want to jump on the water because what Donnelly said is inaccurate. We're not telling lies. We're giving information that we're receiving from scientists and studies that the city council has received that are on our council share drive that say there are certain types of PFAS chemicals in the firefighting foam that pass right through the filters, or they build up quickly and cause the carbon to become useless and have to be changed out more quickly. So we were just at UMass last Wednesday, with Kristen Mello, with Rep. Velas. I was with Councilor Emershai, and even Van Heiningen was there. Okay, the scientist Velas asked the scientist, okay, if you lived on an island, would you rather have GAC? And Matt said, well, no, we're not going to let him off the hook. If you lived in Westfield, would you rather use an alternate water source or GAC? There was 8 scientists in the room, and every single one of them said they would first go an alternate water source because GAC is proven not to filter everything out. And I've called around when this whole thing came up, the second time the bond came up, I started contacting communities around the country that actually use GAC filters, and they have PFAS contamination. Almost every single community I talked to told me it doesn't filter out all the PFAS, and the cost of maintaining them are extraordinary. And if you look at the lawsuits, and I said this in the debate the other day, if you look at the lawsuits the city filed against the federal government, against the manufacturers of the firefighting foam, our projected costs are $65 million. That's way more than the $13 million we've talked about. That's the long-term maintenance cost that we're talking about.
Now, and if we're going to talk about the slant that he's sending out there and categorically misrepresenting things, so in his posts, I don't know if it went out by email, but his post claiming about Newburgh, New York, that they hadn't built a filtration facility, and that and he posted a link to I believe it was $2.7 million facility that's been dragged out, and they're getting ready to construct. Well, yes, it's again yet another Steve Donnelly half-truth, because yes, they are getting ready to build that, but what he's completely ignoring is the fact that the facility that we spoke about was constructed. It did fail. The facility that he's highlighting is essentially a pre-treatment facility before it reaches the main reservoir where the main facility was constructed. So again, it's those half-truths where you present them, and he says, oh, these guys are wrong. well, we're not wrong. You just are choosing the information that you want to present instead of laying it all out there and saying, yes, a $50 million facility was built.
And
the
Matt,
$50 million facility failed.
that's why I felt it important to have you guys on as well, because I didn't want one side on election day to be out there. I felt it important to be both sides. That's why I invited Councilor Flaherty on, and he came right on and took Steve to task. I got no problem with that. That's the whole point of you guys being here right now.
Yeah, I mean, and the problem is we're not trying to blame the city for doing something. Okay, they thought they were doing. They may have thought. I'm not gonna. I don't know what their thinking was, but they thought they were doing something to clean the water. The problem is they didn't contact any of the communities aside from Newburgh that actually are using these filters, because all of the communities I talked to, and I talked to about a half a dozen of them, have said that the filters don't filter everything out. So I mean, it's proven by use, and it's proven by scientific studies. You know, all the scientists at UMass who are experts in PFAS, this is what they study. We toured their laboratories.
All right, so if you
they
get
said
elected,
they would not do that.
If you guys get elected tonight, what are your solutions or going forward? What do you guys want to do about this?
And each of you have a minute to respond to that.
Yeah, because we're going to run up on time.
I'll go first, Matt. You can finish. So Matt found a geosphere report. The only place left on the north side of Westfield that we've found so far is that can sustain a high yield well is the Cabot Road site where they want to build an industrial park. That's number one. Secondly, we want to tap either into Holyoke, which is probably the cheaper option, and it's already got 2 water mains that run from West Holyoke into Westfield from that reservoir that can be tapped in. If they need to be slip lined, they can be slip lined. It's still less expensive than what they're doing with the filters. And I have emails. It's public record. Anybody can request it. Emails in my city council email account from the water director in Holyoke telling us, and it's CC'd all the water commissioners and the city council in Holyoke. They are willing to sell us the water, and they've given us a quote, and it's not obviously it's not written down in a contract, but a quote of $365,000 a year for 2 million gallons a day. Okay, it's on public record as well in those meetings that we held about the bond that the cost of changing out the carbon filtration every year would be $640,000 for all the filters. There's 8 filters, so it's obviously cheaper. It's clean water. It's been tested for PFAS. We know it's clean. They're willing to sell us the water. It just makes sense to do that. And we don't need a filter.
I've got to give Matt his 1 minute.
Go ahead, Matt.
Thank you. So, and then another, for instance, that was mentioned was the $1.3 million recovery that the city got from the Guard. Well, that didn't just happen by coincidence. That happened because Andrew contacted the Guard Bureau. He worked with them to get the language that was needed. Kristen Mello and the PFAS Coalition went forth. They got the legislation changed, so legally we could recover that money. The city of Westfield didn't just stumble into this or it happened by chance. It's because certain individuals, like when Councilors Alley and Surprise and I went to Washington, D.C., some of us have been working extremely hard to address these issues and meet with the people to actually get the answers and come up with solid solutions to move the city forward.
All right. Matt, thanks for calling in. Andrew, thanks for coming in. I knew I'd be hearing from you folks mighty quick this morning. Kathy, I guess people are listening and watching.
And please go out and vote.
We shall vote.
All right. Join us on the air tonight, 6:30 p.m. for an election countdown to
extravaganza.
Yeah, we'll be in the city
Live
hall
from council chambers.
We'll be right in the city council chambers.
Stop by and say hello if you want.
We'll have the numbers first at East Mountain Country Club.
But it isn't official until the city clerk reads it, right?
Yeah,
Madam City Clerk.
Yeah, Madam City Clerk actually has to read the vote, so we'll have the official number.
All right.
All right. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you next week.
Bombadita, 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 bombadita,
Until
bombadita,
we meet
bombadita,
again.
bombadita,
Happy trails to you.
bombadita, bombadita,
Keep smiling until then.
Who cares about the clouds when we're together? Just Sing a song and think about sunny weather.
Happy trails to you till we meet again.